Can you see me? Hey, what's going on? Anthony Grillo, AMG 4K, and these are the 15 most common errors we make when making a purchase of a new camera. Here they are, in no particular order, starting with number 15. Number 15, internet pressure, blogs, Vimeo, YouTube, anything you go online and when you Google search that name of that camera, all that is a common mistake we all make, diving into what others think about what we want to use for our photography or video. Think about it. Here you are. You searched your way through the mire of the internet, through YouTube, through Google, through Bing, Yahoo, AOL search. Heck if I know how you got here. But a lot of times we make the same mistake of taking the opinions of others to be factual for us. What you might find is what a gem for one, but not for what you want to do with it. So pay close attention to who you're listening to, even me, when it comes to purchasing a camera designed for what you want it to do. Number 14, what Johnny down the street has. Does he have a Canon 5D Mark III? So, I gotta have one of those too. Oh, Anthony's got the new D810. I only have a D700. I gotta get that D810. But why? What's the reason for the upgrade? Is it because so-and-so has a different camera? Maybe the most up-to-date camera? Keep in mind, these cameras change every 24 months or less. So you're always gonna be chasing that carrot. So number 14, don't focus on what other people have. Focus on what you need. Number 13, how are you gonna do your purchase? You're using cash, credit, check, money from grandma, grandpa, investment money that you took out of the market. So be careful what you use to buy your camera gear. A lot of times people overspend for things that they don't need, and we'll get into that more later. So one of the things is overspending, and that is number 13. Don't overspend. Pay attention to what you need and purchase what you need, if that made any sense. Number 12, listening to the clerk at Best Buy or your local camera shop or anywhere else you may be able to find or buy camera gear. Staples, Office Depot, getting the advice from the untrained eye. Listening to a clerk who may be paid a percentage of the sale based on the product they sell to you. So be close attention and see what they're pushing, because I guarantee if we talk to the next clerk that's taking care of someone else, they're gonna recommend a different camera, a different setup. So pay close attention and wonder why this clerk is recommending the D750 over the 7D Mark II. Number 11, full frame or crop censored. Now, if you don't know what crop sensor means, it means it's a smaller sensor than your 35mm full frame sensor. So what I learned over the years is, as you progress in you're in your crop sensor cameras, oh my God, I need to be in full frame. I need to be in full frame. My pictures will be so much good. I'm gonna use so much more of my glass. My pictures are gonna be so much better if I could just get a full frame camera. While that may be sort of true, it's not 100% true, because once you dive into another arena such as video, you'll realize that Super 35 sensors, which are in your RED cameras, are the same size, basically the same size as a crop sensor APC sensor that's in your Nikon D7000 series, 7100, 7200, such as the D3300, the D5500, the Canon 7D Mark II, all those low crop sensors cameras. So pay close attention to that fight that you'll hear on the internet about full frame versus crop censored. At the end of the day, you'll realize you'll buy what fits your lifestyle in video, cinematography, whatever it may be, because these crop sensor cameras are getting better ISO capabilities. I think the new Nikon D7200 can shoot at 25,600 natively now, which is bananas crazy. So pay close attention to that fight and try not to get too much involved in the fight of full frame versus crop censored. Number 10, lenses. Oh, the math, 2.8, 3.5, f4, holy smokes. What do I do with all these lenses? Which lens is the best? Do I need to have 2.8, what people tell me on the internet? Go back to top 15. You're gonna see online, people are gonna tell you need 2.8, you need 1.8 G lenses, you need 1.2, you need 0.95 Voigtlanders. Oh man. My head explodes when I think about how this used to be. I've been taking pictures, my first photography course was in 1992. I bet you some of you watching were probably born that year, hence the gray. But I did attend Woodstock 94. if that's worth anything. I did see Pearl Jam, Nirvana, Soundgarden. I saw them all. But anyway, I digress. Pay close attention to what you need. 2.8 lenses may not exactly be what you need if you're not shooting in low light. You may just about think that you need a 2.8 because someone on YouTube told you you need to be 2.8 Trinity lens buyer. That's not so much accurate because ISO capabilities are far beyond what they were when that video was probably created. So pay close attention to what you need. If 2.8 is what you need, more glass is what you need, faster glass, you may just need the ISO bump in the new cameras to solve your problems. F4 may be just fine. I use an F4. I have an F4 24-120 that came with the Nikon D750. I used to own, ready for the list? I used to own the D700, the D7000, D7100, the Nikon D800, Nikon D810, the Canon 7D Mark II, the Nikon 24-70, Nikon 14-24, the Nikon 70-200 2.8, the Nikon 24-120, which I still have. And oh, you know what's kind of recording this? The Sigma 18-35 1.8, because it's awesome. Because it's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at you. It's awesome. Anyway, number 9, name brand recognition. Canon, Nikon, Sony, Olympus, whatever. Sometimes you buy just based on the name brand. I've done that. I'm a Nikon guy. I find it very hard to buy Canon products. Why? Because I'm used to Nikon. That's the nature of marketing. That's the nature of getting a customer for life. I drive the same car, new versions, every 4 years. Why? Because I'm used to it. Is it better than the other car? Probably not. It's just a matter of name brand recognition. So pay close attention to actually why you're buying what you're buying. And is it because you have a Canon printer at home? Is it because you saw a Canon ad? What is it? Do you have a Canon PowerShot that you had for the past 20 years? Take a look at the other brands. You might save a lot of money. You might get the same quality of stills or video if you buy another brand. This is recording on the Panasonic GH4. If you told me 3 years ago I'd be using a Panasonic, I would have said, "You're crazy. That'll never happen." Look at me now. Panasonic GH4 lover. I love my Panasonic GH4. I love my Nikons for stills. What may be good for me may not be that good for you, and that's fine. But pay attention to the name brands. I'll pop the collar. Pay attention to the name brands to see if that's why you're making your purchase. Are you buying a Micro Four Thirds camera just because you think it's cool? Don't do it! Because the sensor is small. Make sure you're buying it for the right reasons, because if not, you're going to have to make up for it in some other way. And this is number 9, which I forgot to mention. Number 9. This Panasonic GH4 is a Micro Four Thirds. If you want, it has not the greatest ISO capabilities. So what did I have to do? I had to get a fast lens, this 1.8, 18-35 Sigma, and a Metabones adapter. So I can go from 1.8 to 1.2 and shoot at ISO 500 like I'm doing now. So pay close attention. You're going to hear about Micro Four Thirds for the rest of 2015, most likely into 2016 and beyond. So pay close attention to why. If you need that and you love this Panasonic GH4 image that you're seeing, then maybe that's just for you. But keep in mind, there are other added expenses that you'll need to do to get great low light capability and faster lenses, like adding this Metabones adapter and a fast lens to begin with. So that's pretty awesome. Number 7, a Metabones adapter. You may need to get one of these because you may be invested fully into one lens series, going back to the name brand recognition. So if you're fully invested in a whole bunch of lenses and you want to buy a Micro Four Thirds, you might have to buy a Metabones adapter to be able to use the lenses, because you don't want to sell those lenses because you already invested so much money in those lenses that maybe perhaps there's got to be a solution out there. Oh my God, I got all these lenses. What am I going to do? I want to buy a new, the Sony A7S. I want to buy the Olympus OMD Mark II, whatever that thing is. I love that GH4 that AMG 4K has. I need that lens. I need that camera, but I have all these lenses from Canon. What am I going to do? Metabones is your answer. Buy the Metabones adapter. Spend the $500-600, whatever it is. Instead of going out and buying all new glass, you'll be much happier to did. You'll have sharper images, you'll have another stop of light, and your life will be much better for it. Well, maybe not that last one, but you'll be able to use the lenses that you have. Number 6, we're getting to number 6. We're getting towards the end of our countdown of the top 15 most common errors we make, or I make, or you may be able to make, or I may be able to stop you from making when buying new camera gear in 2015. Used versus new. You can get a lot of bang for your buck if you buy used. A lot of people buy cameras, use them for less than 20,000, shutter actuations, sell them off for one reason or another, and you may be able to capitalize on their errors. So check out the used version. You can go to KEH, BEH, B&H. Let me do that again. You can go to KEH, you can go to B&H. Trustworthy places to get your used gear. So buy used, I do, as long as it's from a trustworthy source. Number 5, buy the old version. You don't need the brand new one. I had the D800. Did I need to buy the D810? Really? Me personally? No. The D810 was great. The D810 is just slightly bit better for a few different features. And the way that they market to you is like, it's like suddenly that the camera that you have is so longer non-feasible because it's missing the few features that the new version does. And I fight it, and I've been guilty of this myself. And I'm telling you from experience, most times it's not that much of an upgrade to make you dump the camera that's taking wonderful images now or great cinematography, video, if that is even a sentence. I'm telling you, you don't need to go from every version to every version. Like the GH3, the GH4 was a big jump. That made sense. You needed, if you wanted 4K, that made sense. But the 7100 to the D7200, I mean, I look at it and I say, why? What's the difference here? Why would we dump the 7100 to get the 7200? And I'm just speaking from my Nikon example. I'm sure Canon has the same example. The Olympus has the same example. Whatever has the same example. Just pay close attention. The older version may be just fine. You don't need to dump it. You're gonna get in the grill when you trade it in, especially at the store. You're gonna get, it's gonna be right here on the chin when you trade up. So you might as well get the money out of it. Wait till the second version. Maybe jump 2. Maybe I should have waited for the D820. Maybe that would have made a difference. Maybe that'll have 4K, but then I wouldn't have the GH4 and I would have had to wait. So it depends. Sometimes you got to live in two worlds, but I'm going off on another tangent. What I'm saying to you is this. Maybe you don't need to upgrade every version. Every time a new car comes out, I don't go and get the brand new model every year, even though I have it. I have to wait. I have to wait. Camera gear, we get stuck that the next version is going to be so much better than the current version. We look at it and we go, oh, you're so old. Why do I love you? I got to get something new. We spent a lot of time together, but you're just not cutting it for me. The new version of you is so much better. Is it really? I don't know. I can honestly say my upgrades so far, justifiably, would have been just the GH4 for the 4K. And that's me personally. Number 4, megapixel needs, megapixel battles. Who's got the most megapixels? You got more megapixels? Who's got the most megapixels? Nikon's got 36 million megapixels. Canon's got now 50 million megapixels. Something along those two lines. Really? How big are we printing? How big are we going to print? What's your printing needs? You really need 36 megapixels to crop a picture down from this to like this and have the great same resolution? Is this what you need to do? Sometimes that's what we need to do. Sometimes you need to make, sometimes you need 50 megapixels. I would imagine to say, based on what I could see out there in the world, most pictures are being taken with an iPhone or an Android phone, and not even taken with a camera, a crop sensor, intro DSLR. So what's the need for the average consumer to have over 24 megapixels? Is there really such one? Because I can tell you right now what I see every day when I go to a birthday party for a youngster. I see parents with iPhones and iPads taking pictures, not even printing them. Little Johnny and little Susie are going to come home in 25 years and say, Mommy, Daddy, where are my pictures from when I turned 5? And Mommy and Daddy are going to say, well, I had an iPhone 5S then, so somewhere in the cloud? I don't know. So let's not get caught up in the whole megapixel fight. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes it's not a fight you want to be in because you're not gonna lose. It just doesn't make sense to be in it. Sometimes you're in fights that you don't need to be in, and it's a megapixel fight. The Sony A7S has 12 megapixels. 12. Nikon D750 has 24. This Panasonic GH4 has 16. I bet you if I put pictures side to side, whoosh, 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 and I showed them to the average consumer, they would know what megapixel it was. Because how are you viewing it? Are you viewing it on an image that's maybe, an 8x10? Nobody's going to be able to tell the difference. So just pay close attention to the megapixel battle that will ensue again someday or being ensued right now, and just be mindful of how many megapixels make sense for your work. Number 3, ISO, low light capabilities. Yes, it's very important that you have a camera that can shoot in decently low light ISO settings. As I can tell, most cameras can shoot at ISO 6400 pretty natively. That's pretty darn well. That's pretty darn good. There used to be a day where maybe ISO 800 wasn't so great. But But now, I think your new D7200 is shooting at 25,600 natively. I mean, that's bananas. That's bananas. These cameras these days have the ISO capabilities that are so sky high that you know it makes those fast aperture lenses sort of less important. So be mindful of your ISO needs. Are you shooting weddings? Are you in the dark? Are you going to use flash? How are you going to shoot? What are you going to shoot? You outside all day at the playground? Pay close attention to that, because you may not need a camera that shoots at 25,600 natively if you're going to be outside and be at ISO 200 to 400 most of the time. And if you got built-in flash on most of your Nikons, you don't need that. You won't need to be that high anyway. So just be mindful of the sales tactics that you'll be sold when coming to ISO and low light performance. Number 2, getting towards the end of my list here. Getting tired from moving back and forth, I'll be honest with you. Do you need 4K video? I'm asking you honestly from the heart. Do you need 4K video? Because if you do, then you need to upgrade your camera. Because how many cameras are doing it internally? This one. A7S will do it externally, but then you got to buy a monitor to record. It's going to cost you $4,000 in that way. So 4K will be very common sooner or later. But do you need it right now? Chances are you want it. You got to have it. But do you need it? That's a question I can't answer. I know that for me, I wanted it. And number one, the number one mistake, and this is not any particular order, it's just the way it came out of my brain, from my brain to the paper to you to YouTube, this is how it came out of my brain. How do you like it? You like it big? Do you like it small? How do you like it? You know what I mean? Your camera size. What are you talking about? I'm just asking you, how do you like it? You like to hold a big, chunky camera like this nostril? You want something big like this? Or you want something small and petite like a GH4, an A7S, an Olympus OMD -5 Mark II, whatever. So pay close attention to your hands and what you need and how it fits in your hands. Because you're going to be taking pictures for a long time, your hands are going to start to hurt. I know I sound like you're out there digging ditches or anything like that, but pay close attention to the grip and how big the camera is, because the D810, the D800, those 5D Mark IIIs are big cameras. It's a lot to hold around when you got a big lens on there. So when you get into size and you're thinking about which camera is going to be best for you, think about your hands and the size of the lenses and factor that all into the equation and see. Oh, rolling shutter. It's a rolling shutter moment. Oh, you're still here? We're still talking about number 1, size of the camera. Oh, size of the camera. I haven't done a video in a long time, so excuse me while I just dialogue. Anyway, number 1 was the size of the camera. So pay close attention to the size of the camera that you need. What fits in your hands, what fits into your budget. It's going back to another number. So that is my top 15 mistakes that people make and I've made, and that hopefully you won't make when purchasing a camera. Don't get caught up in the hubbub of other people telling you what camera is the best for them. What YouTube video proclaims this camera is the best camera. Remember, I'm the guy who brought you the D750 videos from a long time ago. I love that camera. Still have it right there in that bag. I still have it. I love it. Is it the best camera in the whole wide world? No. In 10 years, will it even be in this house anymore? No, it'll be on the shelf somewhere, if it's even around. And it'll be someone else's piece of junk and being sold for $200. So keep in mind, that's technology for you. That's the video. That's me. I'm AMG 4K. Thanks for watching this top 15 video mistakes. Please comment below. Trust me, I didn't hit all the common errors. And some of these common errors may not even occur to you. Disclaimer here. Some of these common errors may not affect you. You may be smarter than I am. That's true. Some of you may have more experience of purchasing equipment than I do. That's true. But some of you may not. Some of you may just be getting into the arena right now and figuring, hey, how can I not make a mistake? And that's where this video comes in. If you have something better for me, which I'm sure you do, because a lot of people out there are a lot smarter than me. So put your comments here below. Add something to the list. Maybe I'll add it to my list. But we're all about helping people, and that's what the internet's all about. Bringing together a bunch of people, giving them knowledge, giving them information so they don't make the same mistakes that we made. That's the way I'm using it. I'm AMG 4K. Thanks for watching. That is the news for today, and I am out of here. Outro.